On the outskirts of a small town, far away from the bustling streets and cheerful houses, there stood a structure that everyone feared. The building was large but broken, its roof sagging, its windows shattered, and its once white walls now stained with years of neglect. Ivy climbed across the surface like veins, as though nature itself was trying to choke the life out of it. People rarely went near, and those who passed by avoided looking directly at it, as if even the sight of the house carried a dark curse. For many in the town, it was simply called the haunted house, a place whispered about in hushed voices and told through cautionary tales meant to keep children away. No one remembered exactly when the house began to fall apart, but everyone knew it had once been full of life. Some old residents recalled seeing lights flickering inside on winter nights and hearing faint music drift from its walls long ago. Those memories, however, were overshadowed by the stories that followed, stories of screams echoing in the dead of night, and shadows moving past broken windows when no one should have been there. Over time, these tales shaped the reputation of the house into something more sinister than a simple abandoned building. While most avoided the property altogether, a few dared to go closer. Teenagers looking for a thrill claimed they felt the ground tremble beneath their feet or that the air turned colder the moment they stepped near the gate. Even adults, brave enough to pass along the road at night, swore they felt eyes watching them from the darkness within. Whether it was imagination or something more, the fear was real. What nobody knew, however, was that this house held secrets more terrifying than the rumors, secrets rooted not in ghost stories but in true crime. In the early 1970s, a new family moved into the house, bringing with them hopes of a fresh beginning. The Carters appeared ordinary from the outside. Neighbors often saw Mr. Carter working on his car in the driveway, while Mrs. Carter tended to the small garden. Their young daughter was seen riding her bicycle around the yard, waving shyly at passers-by. To outsiders, they seemed like any other family trying to build a life together, but inside the walls of the house, something was terribly wrong. Not long after they settled in, unsettling whispers spread through the neighborhood. At odd hours, people claimed they heard shouting, followed by sudden silence. Windows that were once open were now always covered, as if the family wanted to keep something hidden. On stormy nights, distant cries seemed to echo from the house, though no one dared to approach and find out what was happening. Some neighbors convinced themselves it was imagination, but others admitted the sounds were too real to ignore. Then, one night, everything changed. The family was suddenly gone. The garden was left unattended, the car untouched, and the house eerily quiet. Days passed, and when no one saw them return, the police were called. What they found inside was disturbing. Furniture lay overturned, glass shattered across the floor, and streaks of blood stained the walls. Scratches, deep and desperate, marked the wooden doors, suggesting someone had tried to escape. Yet there were no bodies, no clear explanation of where the Carters had gone. The absence of answers turned a tragedy into a mystery. Rumors spread quickly, each more frightening than the last. Some believed they had been murdered and hidden away, while others whispered that the family had been cursed by the house itself. Whatever the truth, the Carter family was never seen again. After the disappearance of the Carter family, the house fell into complete silence. Curtains that once moved with the breeze now hung stiff with dust, and the front door, once a symbol of welcome, became a barrier no one wished to cross. The property was left abandoned, but its presence was impossible to ignore. Children who once played nearby were warned never to step foot on the grounds, and grown-ups avoided walking past at night. The house became a constant reminder of the mystery that had never been solved. From time to time, real estate agents attempted to sell it. Potential buyers visited, lured by its low price, but none lasted more than a few minutes inside. Some reported a suffocating heaviness in the air, as if the walls themselves carried grief. Others spoke of hearing faint footsteps in the hallways even when the house was empty. One man claimed he heard a child's laughter echoing faintly, though there were no children for miles. Word of these experiences spread quickly, and soon the house gained a reputation not only for tragedy but also for being cursed. Police files on the Carter case remained unsolved, but investigators occasionally returned to search for overlooked clues. Each time, they left frustrated, unable to find answers. They considered connections to local kidnappings and missing persons cases but found no evidence linking them directly. Eventually, the house was abandoned by officials as well, locked away both physically and in the minds of many. Yet even in silence, the house spoke in other ways. A flickering light seen from afar, a shadow shifting behind a broken window, or an unexplained chill in the air, all these moments reminded the town that something lingered within. Though the house stood still, its secrets were far from resting. Years later, when the town decided to clear abandoned properties, construction crews were sent to tear the house down. At first, the workers treated it like any other job, but unease quickly spread among them. Tools went missing, strange sounds echoed from the empty rooms, and several workers refused to continue. Still, the demolition had to proceed. While digging near the foundation, the crew made a discovery that froze them in their tracks. Behind crumbling basement walls, they uncovered hidden spaces that had never appeared on the original plans. Inside these concealed rooms, the air was heavy and stale, carrying the stench of decay. Rusted chains were bolted to the walls, and the floor bore deep scratches, as though someone had been dragging heavy objects across it. Old photographs, yellowed with age, were scattered in the corners. The faces in those images showed fear, wide eyes staring directly at the camera, as if begging for help. Even more disturbing were the tools left behind, implements designed not for building or repair, but for inflicting pain. Among the items was a worn leather-bound diary belonging to Mr. Carter. Its pages revealed a disturbing side of the man the town had once believed to be an ordinary father. He wrote about his violent impulses, his obsession with control, and vague references to keeping them quiet in the cellar. Some entries hinted at connections to disappearances in nearby towns, raising the possibility that the Carter home had been a trap for unsuspecting victims. The discovery shifted the narrative entirely. The Carters were no longer viewed solely as victims but as potential perpetrators of something far more sinister. The hidden rooms suggested years of torment, and the diary opened a window into a disturbed mind. The haunted reputation of the house now had roots in real and horrifying crimes. Even after the discoveries in the basement, the truth behind the Carter house never came fully to light. Authorities collected the evidence, but the questions only multiplied. If Mr. Carter had been responsible for the horrors suggested in his diary, what had happened to him and his family? Some believed he turned on his wife and daughter before vanishing, while others insisted they too were part of his dark activities. Without bodies, the answers remained buried in shadows. The case was eventually closed without resolution, leaving the town with more fear than closure. The property was sealed off by officials, yet curiosity continued to draw people toward it. Paranormal investigators visited, eager to capture proof of supernatural presence. Many claimed success. Some recorded disembodied voices calling out for help, while others captured moving shadows that seemed to dart across the walls. Visitors often described sudden drops in temperature and the overwhelming sense of being watched. These experiences only deepened the belief that the souls of victims still lingered, restless and unwilling to let the truth die. Locals avoided the area even more than before. The house stood like a scar on the town, a reminder of what had been uncovered and what had never been explained. For many, it became more than a crime scene. It was a symbol of evil that had taken root and refused to leave. Over time, urban legends formed. Some said the Carter family's spirits roamed the halls, trapped in the very rooms they had once used for suffering. Others believed the victims' cries were what haunted the place. No matter the explanation, the house remained a terrifying monument. Its secrets were never fully revealed, and its story continues to echo like a warning: some truths are too dark to ever rest.